Morning, shedders. Can you guess who filmed the fitting of the new gasket yesterday? Me. And can you guess who actually pressed an extra button on the GoPro so it only took a photo? Me. Anyway, gasket's fitted, and we thread locked the two top bolts as it's recommended. So it's been sat overnight now, so plenty of chance to leak. Nothing, which is what we want. And also the little drip I had down on the bottom of the sump, I cleaned all that up. I sprayed loads of gunk in there and cleaned it up a bit, washed it off, and then the only leak I had was the residue from that. The only thing that's concerning me now is just how handy this main stand is. So I'm thinking possibly getting somebody to fabricate a little bracket up so I can still use it, because the bump stop is on the left hand silencer, which is no longer there. But a little removable arm with a bump stop on or something like that would do it. You could probably fit it to the back of these footrest mounts if there's room. There's plenty of places where you could. It doesn't even have to be this side, it could even be the other side. You know, you might be able to just tack something onto that 4-into-1 and do it that way. So we'll see. And also we had a casualty yesterday. One of the frame plugs up here decided to fall out because his tags broke. Now I can't even remember touching it, but it did. But do you know what? There you go, there's another one broke, look, because it's so fragile. Yeah, don't play with the Jim Bob. A little bead of silicone there, wait for it to go tacky, press it on there, that won't come off, not normally. So that's an easy fix when I'm not throwing it across the shed. Other than that, I'll just take you out the mount. Lucky people, free flight. And what I thought about this is, of course, when you go to tighten the fastener up, that's there, that wants to do that because there's nothing underneath it. So what I might do is try to fit this in the correct position, just there, and then probably put some JB weld or something underneath it so it stays where it is. I mean, you could run epoxy over it or something like that, but JB weld, if it sets hard, gives it a chance to actually have a little bit of purchase on something. The only other option is to warm up a bit of wire or get a staple kit or something and see if we can insert it into there and in there to make a little wire bridge for like JB weld or quick steel or something to go around it. The other option is we get a bit excuse me, a bit of plastic. I've got a frog in my throat, Charles Aznavour. Is we can do that and just build that back up again. I'm sure people actually know techniques for that, and as YouTube is the world's biggest search engine now, I might even look to see if there's anything that could be done. You could I could just put a little bit of sort of glass fibre behind it and then build up the glass fibre just here. You wait for the back piece to set and then you just slowly add layers and add layers, but I'm making it ever so slightly thicker at the back then, which is it's not a biggie. I mean, to be honest, this one you might even be able to put a captive nut behind it, so I don't know. But anyway, he's waffling now. I've got to tidy that wiring up. That is the manual fan switch wiring, because this one, even though it's new, not Kawasaki, there's a hint there, is a permanent closed circuit. So as soon as the wires went on, the fan was running, and it should work opposite to that. There is a plunger. It's like there's sort of like wax inside, if it's even got any in it. Chinese. And basically the plunger, when it either retracts or expands, whichever way it goes, forms the contact. The body of the switch is the earth, and when the contact comes, it's usually back or something like that, it will go on the other pin. I'm just assuming that's the live one. And yes, I did try wiring it round both ways before you ask. And that's how it makes it. And then obviously when the bike cools down enough, it then moves the piston again and the switch goes off. So that's how they're designed to work. But I've put a manual switch on because the big Kawasaki's of this era, the GPZ and stuff like that, were known to run warm. Especially as, you know, if you ever got stuck in traffic. I'm not a big filterer. I don't filter very often. I'm never in a rush to get anywhere, there's no point. But usually if you're stuck in traffic or something like that, they can start to run warm a bit. So I've got the manual option of putting the fan on, which is nice. And my oil kit is on the way with the lines, and to be honest, I think I've ordered the wrong bolts, because even though on Kawasaki these are 14 by 28 point something, so of course, like a knob, I didn't think and thought they were M14. They're not going to be if it's a 14mm head. I don't know, it might be though, because there's a good shoulder. Chances are it won't be an M14 bolt, but we'll see when they come. On the next, I might leave, because I know that's not leaking now, I might just leave that to the next oil change to play with, and I might just bypass the colour altogether, because in this country we really don't need them. And it's not like this is going to have the tits ragged out of it, to be honest, not with me anyway. Get all that out of my system at work, but I can bypass it. I can form a loop between the bottom fitting here and the one round there, and it will just loop back round the sump again. You can delete it completely, you can blank them off. So that's about state of play at the minute. So I'm tempted to put the bodywork back on and give the bike a run. It's not been started up since I've done that, but it's got hasn't got the end part of the exhaust on yet. And this is how good very high temperature paint is. This had 5 or 6 coats when the exhaust went on, and it's flash rusting already. But hey ho, it is what it is. I mean, probably what I might do when I've got some miles on the bike is flush through the coolant system again, take the radiator off, because I've got 4 new gaskets for the exhaust, and I'll fit those at the same time. I could do with a little tidy up of some of the sump alterations I had to do to fit the exhaust, and just tart on it. But I just want to make sure she's running alright first before I invest any more time in her. So we'll see. So that's where we're at. So somebody also did a little moto log on their way to work the other day in the Rover, and to be honest, the audio quality was so terrible I've binned it. Just binned it. So that's where we are now, guys. So Jim, where you going? Enjoy yourself, and we'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra. Isn't this fun, boys and girls? Right, I've decided on the fairing to go with quick steel. This was developed for the US forces to do repairs in field, and it's good stuff. It's funny, it comes out of the tube like this, look. I don't know if that's focusing, but you can see the 2 parts of it, and all you do, you knead it like blue tack, just knead it over and over again till it's a uniform colour. So we'll do that, and it's quite bitty, until it's bonded. And the idea is I'm going to ram it in there with about as much delicacy as an Aussie on a blind date. It's alright, Sheila. It's the anniversary, I'll spit on it first. So we're just kneading it now. It's starting to blend. Takes a while, takes a little while. I mean, you can roll it into a ball and then tear it apart, roll it into a ball again, tear it apart. But you're looking for a uniform colour with no marbling. It's getting there, look, it's getting there. Just if you keep just snapping it in half and mushing it together, you are mixing it, and then give it a roll. This is very exciting, not. But you know, I've seen people do fairing repairs with bodywork filler before, and they've looked alright, but they can't have much structural integrity. Basically, I'm not sure how well this is going to work, to be honest, but we can but try, and sometimes it's very trying. Right, that's starting to look a bit more uniform now, so we're about there. You cannot mix this too much because it takes a little while to go off. I shall leave it overnight, but I don't know whether to ram it in delicately, sorry. I must put my teeth in before I do these, or just see if I can sort of arty-farty mould it around. That clips on alright, but I don't know whether to form a little pin to get up there to meet the other bodywork, and then smoosh it all around there. You can't beat a bit of smooshing. And another one of my favourite Canadian words, well, it's Canadian and New England as well, I think, is a scotch, which is a bit, a scotch more. Now the good thing about this is, apart from me using far too much, always better to mix more than what you think you need though, is forgot what I was saying, which is probably a good thing, because I was probably just waffling bollocks. Cram that up into there. Crammage. Doesn't matter if we block the thread hole, because we can recut it. This can be drilled, tapped, taken out to dinner, all sorts after it's done. And it doesn't matter if it's not too neat around this, because you ain't going to see it when the belly pan's there, because the mid fairing comes down and covers it, and then the belly pan goes over. It actually goes through the belly pan and mid fairing before it attaches to this, whereas the fairing just attaches usually to the mid section. So we'll get a good glump on there, get it round. I don't want to make this face stick out too much, because that's going to upset the alignment. Not that I'm obviously super bothered. You've seen my bike, you know cosmetically I'm not that bothered. Although, to be fair, if I had the money, it would be fully stripped, nut and bolt, the lot. I'd have the frame redone, the wheels redone. The back wheels on these, I think the front wheels as well, the edges from factory were polished. And I think somebody's attempted at one point in its life to completely polish the rear wheel. And it's all scabby now. But, yeah, I don't like polishing. It's effort. And the trouble is, it's effort that maintains effort. Once you've polished something, that's it. And it's always best to leave it uncoated. You know, you start putting lacquer on, the lacquer will peel eventually, and it will start to look horrible, because then you'll get all alloy corrosion under it, or metal corrosion and all that lot. There. That's not three bad. Now if that sets alright, we're giggling. And I've got some left. I could do a Del Boy and just put it in some random area and, you know, pretend it's part of the styling. fuckwit that man is. I'm sorry, but he is. I know a lot of people like his channel, but I've seen him do too many dangerous things, and the fact that he completely butchered a Gen 1 Hayabusa is unforgivable, basically. You know, and then he goes on about being a mechanic all his life. Is he fucked? Ah, dear. Still, I ain't gonna moan. I mean, the only reason Dell's done well is because he's been around a very long time. He jumped on YouTube when it was very, very early. You know, he did have the foresight to do that, but trouble is, with all this sponsorship and stuff, he's got up his own arse a bit, and that happens to a lot of people. A lot of people. I started watching a lot of channels when it was just, you know, guys in sheds and their own garages, lockups and stuff, and suddenly they've got a bit of money coming in and they rent a unit and all this lot, and then all of a sudden it's a corporate wank fest, which is what you didn't want to watch in the first place. I don't mind watching manufacturers' demonstration videos, stuff like that, because, well, they're the manufacturer, they should know how it works. But sometimes, you know, we'll see. Anyway, rant over. That don't look too bad. It looks bloody awful, but it don't look too bad. Right, let's see if I can get... Sorry, I'm right up against the camera now because I'm reaching over, trying to get a bolt. It's the wrong size, grommet. You've still got this in your hands, why? Answers on a postcard too. Jim is a dick. Just making sure the path to the thread is clear. And we've just pushed that out the back, so we're alright. Actually, what I might do, as you don't see it anyway, is we'll take this bit. This is actually starting to go off a bit now. And we've got a pigeon on the roof and he's noisy. They do make a lot of noise, pigeons. So we'll just put a little bit on the back, Del Boy style. I'm feeling epic. Oh, sorry. Just some people you just dislike, and I'm sure plenty of people dislike me. But the difference is, I don't care. Because you are fully entitled to your opinion. As am I. Now, that looks perfect, because it looks like it's come out of the Play-Doh factory on a Friday afternoon, and that is good enough for Jim Bob. By all, this was an extra publication bought by the letters W, T, F.